Hello, ladies and gentlemen, stars from all nations. I welcome you to Project Echelon, the second episode of this special documentary that is following and featuring the life and stories of a serial entrepreneur, an investor, an influential individual known across the world and Africa in particular, Mr. Kaycey Ogbonna. In the previous episode of this documentary, we followed his life journey, his experiences, including crossing Mediterranean twice. Before we go into the conversation of the day, let me read you a stat. During the period of 1965 to 2021, an estimated 440,000 people per year migrated from Africa to the rest of the world. Now, as you would have also guessed, a good number of these migrants don't always make it to their destinations. Some of them are found in the deserts, as we heard in the previous episode. In fact, today, DW says that they've discovered a number of dead bodies floating on the Mediterranean. And that is why our documentary is very important. The story we are telling about this serial entrepreneur and investor, Mr. Kaycey Ogbonna, is quite unique because he didn't cross the Mediterranean once, he did it twice, and he's here today. And we are going to turn the camera over to him to learn the experiences, the journey, the lessons, and what you have to know about his life, how he built his wealth, how he became who he is today. Ladies and gentlemen, join me and welcome Mr. Kaycey Ogbonna.
Yeah, thank you, Tom, once again. Feels good to be with you always. Yeah, I thank you for the last episode, and it was actually the first time I'm having a wonderful opportunity to share these stories in detail, and I'm so excited about it. I believe that this story will inspire and help a lot of young people to make the right decisions about their life and what they want to do, where they want to go. You know, this mindset of going to look for greener pastures outside your country, especially by African young people, in my opinion, probably has done more harm than good. It's not all of us who happen to engage in those kind of journeys that had the opportunity that I have today to go through it and come out and be a better person today. There are so many things that happens out there, so many of them that I might not even be so proud to share. A lot of ugly things that happen in these journeys, in the life within the countries where you go to. Because it's a horrible thing to live as an illegal immigrant in any country, especially in some of these odd countries like North Africa, Libya, Pakistan, Iran, and some of the places that I've been to. You know, when you go there, for example, let me backtrack a little in the days when we went to Libya. When you go to Libya, the moment you step into Libya, you first of all lose control of yourself because you are in a terrain that you either make the decision to join the bad things or do few good things. But the opportunities to do the good things are not always very easy. They come with a lot of prices, a lot of suffering, and a lot of influence. For example, when you have about 1,000 immigrants, probably Africans, in those areas, they usually live in a particular environment as immigrants. Their lifestyle is usually the same. You don't have papers, so you have your movements are restricted and all those kind of things. So when you have a larger number of the people towing a particular line, it's hard for you to be the odd one out. So if you are not helped by God or have a very strong will, a very strong principle, you will join them. And of course, young people, they are very young. They hardly have that kind of strong will. And so it's easy to influence them. For example, in most of those places, some of the things that people find themselves doing are illegal things. Drugs, prostitution for women. And there are people who has mastered those trends, those kind of trade, and they have become a master in it. So they recruit even young people. That's how come you see people who are engaged in human trafficking. There are men who are grown. In those days, probably we were in our 20s, but we have men who were in 40s. They have advanced in life. They have been through this terrain often and on. And so they have mastered the act, the practice. So they come to Africa and take more young people. And when they take them there, they force them into things that they were not even told of. We hear these stories every time. Ladies coming to take young ladies and telling them that, oh, you work here, you do salon, you do house help and all those kind of things. And when they get there, they force them into prostitution.
Precious, you don't have any choice. This is what is going on. This is how it's going to be. You need to prostitute. She said I should pay 20,000 euros. I was to pay 20,000 euros. I was like, no problem, because I really don't have any choice. I just arrived. I don't know how to go. I don't know where to go. I was very, very confused. I was frustrated at that moment. I was, is this the kind of life I'm planning for myself? Is this how I'm going to end it?
The only way they can make money, because they don't have legal documents, is through the sex trade, according to the pimps, who are Nigerian women known as madams, who essentially own several girls in a sort of stable of women, keep them in houses, whether they're in and around Naples, whether they're in the north of the country, depending on what community they're in, the madam determines what the girl will owe.
For example, in Libya. Libya is predominantly or 100% Islamic nation. And so their women are a kind of private properties. They don't have the freedom of association like the way we have over here in Africa, where a young boy can even have a girlfriend. You know, you and your girlfriend can even go out. You know, you live a free life. Over there, it's not like that. So their tendency to look for satisfaction, sexual satisfaction, is very high. So some of these guys who has mastered the terrain now provided that opportunity for them by bringing young girls, camping them in a house. The term they use in those times, they call it connection house. So you get a house, a hidden house in a farm, and then they bring 10 girls, 15 girls and keep them there. All that they do is that in the nights, the Libyan citizens will come pay, reasonable sums of money and sleep with those girls. And that's what they do every day of their life for years. They'll bring you. You can't go back. You don't know how to go back. Once you are there, you are there. Whether you like it or not, they'll force you. And some of them, they'll say, okay, you pay me $50,000. You pay me $100,000. You pay me $20,000. And they take them through some kind of horrible things, and they break their will, and they accept. And some also are spoilt, young people already who are, once they get there, they start enjoying the thing, and so they get that, they get them, they do prostitution. So we have that people who are engaged in that. Even government officials come there. They know that there are things like that going on, but for some reason, they just have to. Yeah. After all, it's not their citizens, so who cares? Some of them come, some of the government officials, people in police and army, they come and patronize these people. You see, so if you get into Libya, you could be influenced into getting into those kind of life. Another is drugs. A lot of people They have mastered the art. They bring in drugs and they recruit boys who has come there like me, young, very young, stranded, don't know what to do. If you come, they can recruit you into, the drug trafficking, peddling in the streets and selling it to the citizens. But there are those who are going to look for menial jobs, working in the farm, doing a laborer in the construction sites and all those those are hard work. You will suffer. You use your strength, you go through hell, but you also get money. But it's easier to make money through the other way. And you make much more money. So if you are not careful, you easily choose the other one, because most people, about 80 to 90%, that's what they choose. And they do it. Sometimes they get into trouble, they go to jail, and that was it. Some even die in the process. I remember in my second journey to Libya, then I became a little bit, control of myself. Of course, there are a few things that I did that I'm not proud of, but I was able to, get control or get hold of myself, and try to choose what I should do and what I should not do. And in a particular city, I visited a connection house, that's what they normally call it, because whether you agree to what they do or not, the thing is that you must still visit those places, because that is where sometimes they have the restaurants where they do African food. Right. That's where you can buy any African thing. That's where you can meet other people. They have a meeting place. So you must still visit there. You must still associate with these people. You don't make friends with the citizens. They are privately on their own on the other side. We are on the other side. So whether he's a bad guy or a good guy, we all associate, because you have no choice. So we had a story of about a young girl that they have brought, and the young girl is proving stubborn. She said she will not do the prostitution and all that. And, we hear those kind of stories, but at the end of the day, they will make sure they break you and you will join the train. It's a matter of time, maybe 1 month, 2 months. And by the time you go through starvation and torture and all those kind of things, you will definitely succumb. So I heard of that story. It wasn't new though, but I was curious. We decided to go there and, to see. We went there and we saw the young girl, a young, beautiful girl in about 19, 20, 21 years old. And we went to speak to her, and she happened to come from my hometown. Wow. She happened to come from the same city. Wow. Her parents, her mother specifically, happened to be my mother's friend.
And she didn't know you?
She didn't know. I didn't know her. Her mother was late. Both parents were late. Her mother and my mother happens to be in the same church. Wow. Very close friends. So there and then, I vowed that this one will never do that. That I better sacrifice even my life to make sure that I pull her out. So, and I arranged. I told her we are going to play along with them. I'm going to tell them that I want to pay, for your service to. Sometimes they give them out for people to take them home. Wow. So I went to the woman who has brought her, and then I told her that I have spoken to her and she's now ready to do so. I want to take her for, the service at home. And I paid and I took her. I brought her to where we live. I have a group of young people, we live together in the same house. They were my friends. So I told them, this is the situation. So we have seized this girl. And we seized her. So it became a battle. The woman arranged her own people and they came fighting and all the ball. We stood our ground. And by the grace of God, we succeeded. The girl lived with me until I was ready to go back to Nigeria, and I took her along. And I took her to my mother. She stayed in my mother's place and everybody was happy. And to the glory of God, that girl is living now, married, happily married, and doing well. So she's part of my trophy. So I rescued her. And all those kind of things happen. There are a lot of people who has died in the process. A lot of young people who can no longer find their faith because they are used to this kind of drug trafficking. They get caught in the process and they go to prison. A lot of bad things happen and a lot of influence. People became like myself. I became a drug addicted person. That is why we must, as you grow, as you become influential, as you make wealth, as you get connected with government or get into politics or you become a policy maker, we must in Africa find a way of helping the street kids, those people who are less privileged. Like in my case, you see, because I was exposed to the streets on time, you could imagine a 5-year-old boy already trading in the streets. Sometimes I stay out till around 9 p.m. in the night. So I was exposed to all kinds of things. As early as when I was about 18, 19, 20, I started smoking weed. You see, these are terrible things that even my parents doesn't know that I do. Because there is no home like my children have now. You see, my child cannot just go without me knowing where she is going. But in those days when we were growing up, there is no such home. It's either we are in the market or we are in the street somewhere. So even if you come back late in the night, maybe you have gone somewhere else. Nobody knows. And so these children that you see today in the street, take for example, even somewhere around here, there is a ghetto somewhere around here, and people have given birth there. There are bars where they sell akpeteshi, they sell weed, they sell cocaine, they sell heroin in all those places. And these children were born there. Their parents are petty traders, street traders. Early in the morning, they are in the market selling, and the child is left there with the people who are selling akpeteshi, selling drugs, selling all those things. There is 90% chances that child will become a drug addict. It's not the child's fault. That is the environment he found himself. And so he can even graduate to becoming an armed robber. So are you going to blame the child? No, you don't blame the child. That's the environment he found himself. And so if we don't do anything to help these people, to help the situation, we will end up creating monsters in our society. And so no matter how rich you have become, you must face the consequences of your inability to assist. And so for me, when I come across people, boys who are radical, street boys who are misbehaving, my first reaction is not to condemn them. Because I know that when you dig deeper, you find out that what he is doing, it's not that he chose to be a bad boy. It was because of the environment where he found himself from birth. He didn't ask anybody to give birth to him in that kind of environment. But poverty, hardship, neglect has led to him being given birth there. So for me, it all happened, even though my parents were good people and these give us good home training. I could say we were a little bit lucky because of the Christianity. My mother was a strong believer, so there are a lot of spiritual influence. There are a lot of the fear of God was, built in our hearts. So we didn't go too far. When we go, there is something that pushes us back. But a lot of people didn't have that opportunity. And that's how you see people becoming hardened drug addicts, hardened drug dealers, all kind of mafias. That's how they are breeded in the streets. And you don't blame them because that's the environment they found themselves.
It's amazing.
You see.
Let's go back to, by the way, thank you for bringing this important aspect. In my head, I'm thinking of a movie that can be produced from this, even the summary of what you've given us now. In the other episode, you got to the point, we left off at the point where you had to go back to submit yourself to the UN for security purposes. Could you please take us from that into the rest of the journey?
All right, so we, like I said the other time, we managed to, I met these people, they brought us to Karachi, from Karachi to Islamabad. And so usually when you come to Pakistan, that time was the time the Somalia crisis started. So a lot of Somalians ran away from Somalia, and because they are Muslims, they usually choose other Islamic countries. And so when you go, and UN has created a platform, they have a camp, and there is a platform where people come, and then you come and register as a refugee. So they'll give you an identity card to let you go into the community and integrate in the community and find something to do. So that was what we did, I and that my friend, and we got the UN card, and then we went and mixed with other Nigerians. There are other Nigerians there, you know, and any place where you go, you see a lot of Africa. You see people from Ghana, from Nigeria, from Sierra Leone, and we went to join them. You know, I lived in Pakistan for nearly 2 years. You know, it wasn't a very favorable terrain. There are Pakistanis themselves. It's not a very rich country. They are also poor. They are also looking for work. So it's like you are searching for opportunities that the citizens themselves are also searching from. And there again, there are chances of, you know, going into drugs, going into all kinds of things. But I couldn't find myself integrating so much in all those kind of. So Pakistan wasn't a very favorable terrain. Then I came back to Nigeria. When I came back to Nigeria, because this mentality of believing that you can only make it when you go out to seek greener pasture, I couldn't settle. I always will look out for another place to go. So coming back, the mindset of coming back is to come back and look for another place to go to. And that's what many other young people are suffering from today. They go to Germany, maybe have some problems, they come back. They look for Italian visa and they are off to Italy. They come back from Italy, they look for Indonesia visa and they are off to. So you keep, I still know a lot of my friends who we all are into this traveling things together. I still hear from some of them. They are still traveling. Either they are in Germany or they are in Italy or they are there in UK. Some has gone to, some has scattered all over the world, and they are still, you know, doing all kinds of menial jobs, trying to survive. We need to let them know that. We need to let young people understand that here is our place. There are so much opportunities in Africa. I didn't know until I decided to. I didn't make wealth from going to abroad for greener pasture. I merely survived. Maybe I will go after several years, I'll get like $20,000, $10,000. I'll come back, solve some immediate family problems, and I will jump out again. And I was doing that. I came back from Pakistan with some few little amount of money. I was looking for visas to go to other countries, and the little money I had got finished. I became stranded again. So I decided to travel to Gabon. That's still around 2,000 plus. I'm not very good in keeping dates on my head, but if I go through my archives like emails and all those, I will be able to give exact dates on when this. But these things are early 2000, you know. So then, you know, I got involved with my wife very early. And so this time around, we reconnected. And
all those while she's been in Nigeria.
Yeah, we reconnected. So, and we love ourselves so much, two young people. And then she decided that she will follow me.
To Gabon.
Yes. You know, so it was a terrible mistake, you know, but young people, you know, sometimes you need a guide. That's why if you're a young person and you are listening to this story, and you have a mentor, you have someone who is willing to guide you, you better follow the person. You better listen. You better submit yourself to be guided. Otherwise, you will make terrible mistakes that are avoidable. And sometimes those mistakes will destroy you. Sometimes you will never ever get to the height where God has destined you because of those terrible mistakes. I could say I am lucky, I am favored that I am able to go through all this and, be able to get hold of myself back on time and started, following, some other ways. Many people didn't have that opportunity. Thousands of youths are out there. Their life is already gone. But there was a story I missed. That was in Iran. Before I came back from Libya, I have already become a drug addict. I used to take what they call hashish and all those things. Hashish is a byproduct of opium. Opium is a herb that they use to produce heroin. We have heroin and we have cocaine. So hashish is a byproduct of opium, from opium. So when they make it, they get the heroin and the byproduct becomes hashish. It's more available in the society because it's affordable. So most people who are not able to afford, they can, make do with the other one. So it was common. And we all followed and we were taking hashish and I became an addict. So when I got into prison in Iran, there was a Nigerian guy that was caught at the airport. He had swallowed a large number of heroin and it was in his stomach. So when he was carrying some in the bag and had swallowed a lot in his stomach. So they brought him to prison. They have seized the one in the bag, but the one in the stomach, they didn't see it. And so he came into that prison with that one, heroin. And then he came into the prison and then he now excreted them. And they happened to put him in the same quarter where we are in the prison. And so he brought the thing and we all started taking it.
He was going to sell it.
He was going to sell it, but he was caught at the airport. He is a hardened drug trafficker. But he's a Nigerian guy.
Now he starts feeding the inmates.
Yes.
Wow.
So we started taking this thing. That was my first time getting involved in heroin.
Wow.
And I became addicted. Because we did it for about 2 months. I stayed there 3 months and 12 days. So this heroin lasted. After I think we were there about 1 month before the guy came. So throughout the other 2 months, we were taking this thing morning, afternoon, night, raw heroin.
Wow.
And I was dying. I knew it was wrong, but I'd become an addict. Without it, you can't even stay. But God really helped me. That quantity of heroin finished. And there was no resupply. And we have become an addict that if you don't take it, even your body will be shaking and all. So you become sick.
Wow.
And that was the following week that I was released.
Wow.
Of course, probably I would have run mad inside the chair, but God helped me. And that's to also buttress the point that a lot of young people go into this and they are not as lucky as I am. And their life got messed up. So a lot of things. There are dangerous ways, dangerous movement, dangerous journeys that people take and they are not able to come back to their sense. They are not able to come back to their normal self anymore. So we decided to travel to Gabon. And the easiest route was you go to Cameroon. From Cameroon, you can travel by road to Gabon, or you can travel by sea. So we decided to travel by road. We stayed in Cameroon for about 2 weeks. and then we moved to Gabon. We get to a certain checkpoint after we have crossed into Gabon territory, and they locked us up for a few days, and then they returned us back to Cameroon. The military, they call them gendarmerie, or French country, and they returned us back. And we stayed in Cameroon and find a. Of course, no documents. You can't afford a plane ticket because I was almost stranded already. So we decided to go through the water, and then we bought a boat ticket. There are people who, once young people, once you decide to get involved in all those journeys, you get people who will introduce you to, means. And then we got to the harbor. There is actually an official route to travel by the water to Gabon from Cameroon. They carry goods, and there is also official way of carrying passengers if you have the required documents. But once there is something official, the people involved in that trade will always create the unofficial way where you pay more money and you are hidden, and then you manage to cross and go into, just like even coming to Ghana. It is required that for coming to Ghana from Nigeria, you just need to have your passport as ECOWAS, and then you stamp your passport at every, checkpoint, at every border entry. So we followed that route, and we joined the ship. My first time of using ship now. I think it was about 1 week or so journey, or 2. And then we got into Gabon. When we reached there, you pay a certain amount of money, and then pay to the gendarmerie and all those people, they allow you in. And so when we got there, the little money we had, so I first paid for, and we went with some guys. So I paid for my wife, and some of the guys, they paid, and we managed to put money together, and they left, and I was left inside the boat for them to go look for money in the town and then come and pay for me to come. And so later on, a few days later, they came and paid for me, and then we got into the town. We went to a certain Nigerian man, a young guy, his house. His room could be the size of this, or just maybe from here. And then my wife and 2 or 3 other guys plus the guy, about 7 people, including my wife. What a foolish decision, but I did it, and we were sleeping there. And then later on, we found some relatives from our side. Some are into furniture, they do chairs and upholstery, and some are into trading in the markets, and some are into restaurant food and all those kind of things. So we found them, and we went to meet them. So we were homeless. So a certain guy, he has a 2-bedroom house. So he asked us to come and take 1 room. So I and my wife, we took 1 room, and he also married. They had 1 room. And, the guy was married to a Gabonese woman, and the woman just didn't like myself and my wife, and there were a lot of, for no reason, and a lot of bad treatment. Sometimes we will sit in the sitting room watching television. She will just walk in and put it off, and then so all those kind of funny things. My wife could be trying to do food in the kitchen, and she would just come and they put things off. Those kind of funny behaviors. And so one day we went out to look for work to do to get some money. By the time we come back, the guy has moved out. Apparently the rent has expired. Wow. And he has gotten another house. So he has packed out, and he has brought our bag outside, kept it outside, and he has moved out, no information. And so we came, and our bags were outside, and the rent has expired.
With your wife?
With my wife. And we were stranded. So we carried our bag We didn't have any household things. We carried our bag, and funny enough, the woman followed me faithfully. She was very young and beautiful. Even you could see how beautiful my wife looked now. You can imagine how beautiful she was at that age. She was very young and beautiful, and a lot of guys were secretly coming, telling her that, are you stupid, following this jobless man, this useless man? And she was apparently like she was drunk. She was just following me. She just wanted to be wherever I am. I don't know why. We were suffering. And then we went to another guy. The guy is a battery charger. These car batteries. He has a small shop where they charge those batteries. Very dirty kind of work. So I went to, be there with him to help him, and he took us to his house, Tom. This guy's house in Gabon. Nigerians and African people are suffering outside when they have the opportunity to be here and do something better with their life, but they are suffering. When you get this traveling gets into your head, the kind of things they go through out there, they cannot even go through quarter of it here back in Africa or in their home country. This guy's house could be the size half of this room, and he has one very dirty bed only there. But we had no choice. He admitted us. He was a nice guy. He said we should come and stay with him. And where he is, when it rains, it gets flooded. So the whole place, even the room, will be flooded. And so you see on the wall these dirty things. There is some kind of dirty things on the wall. It was a mess. So that was where we stayed. In the nights, if we want to sleep, you know how we sleep? This is the bed, small bed. The guy will be here. I will be in the middle, and my wife will be here. So I become a barrier between the guy and my wife. And that was the horrible life we lived for months. Then I got some work to do, and I started getting some small money. And then we got a house. The house where we got is an uncompleted building. There's no toilets, no bathroom. So we form a place as our kitchen. And the place where we use as kitchen, that is where we also use as toilets. These are people that are supposed to be abroad. Back home in Nigeria, they said that they are abroad. But this is the kind of life we have to go through. So what we do is that we'll get a tissue paper, roll it. When we want to go to toilet, roll a tissue paper and put lights on it. So the smoke comes with some kind of smell. So it diffuses the smell of the poo-poo, or what they call it. So we go to toilet. And that was the life we lived. So we managed to save some small money, and we left that place. We looked for another place to go, and we went to Cape Verde Island. I and my wife from Gabon. We went to Cape Verde Island. All the time, once this thing gets into your head, all the time you are searching for next better place to go. Next better place to go. That's all that occupies your mind. So we search and search and search. Then we saw Cape Verde Island, and we decided to go. You go through Côte d'Ivoire to Senegal, and then from Senegal you take a flight. Then we have made a passport, and you don't need a visa. You can get visa on arrival. It's part of ECOWAS, but it's a small island. It's a beautiful country. So life there was a bit more decent. So we went there. We have a market where many Nigerians and Ghanaians are there. They dominate the market. So we went to join the trading. They go to buy goods from Senegal. Clothes, shoes, all kinds of things. Sometimes people need phone chargers and all those. So you come to Senegal, because it's a small island country being colonized by Portugal. So they speak Portuguese and they speak Creole. There's two languages. So they are not business people. They are basically fishermen, and they live life like their main source of, they have a lot of their citizens in Portugal. So people remaining at home depend on inflow from their people who are living in Portugal. They send them money and all those kind of things. So the people from Ghana, Nigeria, Sierra Leone, they are the people who control the commercial activities in Quebec. So we went to join them, and it was a little bit of a more decent life. The place was a little bit decent. We have a small apartment where we lived, and we were doing that business. Some people, some Africans there, got papers, and they travel to Europe, buy goods. They go into importation, import all kinds of wares, electronics and all those things. And some who cannot afford to do that, they go to Senegal. Like we're going to Senegal, bringing goods and supply to the people in the market and all kinds of trading. Then at some time I started going to Dubai. I buy from Dubai, and then I came to up level. I was, so life was a bit decent, a little bit decent, and we started. Then my wife took in as my second daughter. No, she took in first. That was supposed to be my first son, but because of language barrier, she didn't get adequate medical attention. So she gave birth to that boy, I think in the 7th month or 8th month. So we lost him. And it was very traumatic for me. I saw the child, it was a boy, but it was still, and we lost the boy, and it really got on me. And I noticed that the reason was because we were not going to hospital for checkup, constantly, because language barrier and the absence of proper documentation. Because even though you have come in, they give you a certain number of days as a legal stay, then you need to get a resident permit, which we were not able to. When you don't get all these things, you will live there all right, but you won't have access to certain things, So she took in again. And because of that, I decided that no, I won't let her go through what she went through before. And that was what led me to remember Ghana. I remember my days in Ghana. And then I told my wife that we have to relocate. At least, even if I have to stay back here, you have to go to Ghana. Let's get a house in Ghana so that you'll be close to home. So my people can even come and look after you. I don't want what happened before to happen again. So I left her there and I came to Ghana. I have some Ghanaian friends who I have met, during travel things. So I contacted them and I came to Ghana, came to stay with a friend at North Kaneshi and stayed there I first went straight to Tema because I know Tema very well, but I was staying in a hotel. So I used to go around all those places that I used to sleep outside before, and it was, refreshed memories. So before my friend came to pick me from the hotel and we went to North Kaneshi, I stayed with him, and then I came to rent a house at Greater Estates here. So when we got the house now, I now asked my wife to, move. So we disposed everything we have in Cape Verde Island, and she came, and she was already pregnant. That was in 2008. I came before her for a few months, secured the house, and then in 2008, that was in 2008, that was when I came back fully to Ghana with my wife. A few months down the line, she gave birth to our second daughter. So...
When was the first one born?
The first one was born very early. It was...
Before she joined you in Gabon?
Yes, in those early days, even before I traveled, people growing in the streets and all those kind of things. There was, wanted pregnancy and all those kind of things, and she gave birth to her. It was a very sad thing,
You were not around?
I was. It was very early in life. Very, very early. You could see my daughter. You could see that she's already grown. My wife was around 15, 16 years old then. Those are some of the things you see as a result of growing up in unsecured environments, people are exposed to all kinds of things, and that was what happened. And it was a terrible situation, but I think it has become a blessing today. If you see my daughter and my wife, you could think that they are sisters.
Yeah.
And she had a very, 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 very young age, So then she was with my wife's family in Nigeria. She lived most part of her life with them. In fact, when she joined us in Ghana in 2009, it took her several months before she started calling me father. She didn't used to see me. She didn't know me.
Wow.
It took her time before she has to now understand that I have a father. She started calling me daddy. Before, she would call me uncle, brother.
And it was painful to you.
It was painful. So I never understood the situation. She had lived with this uncle, this auntie all her life. She never knew that, she could have a father. And so, but a few months down the line, she started relaxing, getting used to it, and she became excited. When she came, you could see that she lacked the presence of parents. But after a few months, when she settled down, her real self now emerged. And, now I'm so proud that I have her. She's 23 now, and she's all grown up. And I'm so proud that I have a 23-year-old daughter. Then it was a sad thing, but today it has become, though it was a terrible mistake, that if not the grace of God, we could, supposing we didn't come back and she had to grow all alone without guide and all those kind of things, who knows what her life would have become. And that explains how so many other people you see on the street today, these are their stories, and they never had the opportunity of reconnecting and becoming who God wants them to be. And it's so sad. But I thank God.
My name is Tonya, and I'm a student and a first daughter to Mr. Kaycey Ogbonna. Okay, I can only remember not staying with my parents when I was young, because they were not really around. They traveled out to hustle to make money. So I grew up with my uncles and my grandma. I stayed with my grandma for like, I don't know when my mom left me, but I left my grandma when I was 7 years. It was really nice. It was like the best moment of my life. Then I later moved on to stay with my uncle. So I left my grandma at the age of 7 to stay with my uncle. My parents wanted me to stay with my other uncle. So yeah, when I stayed with my uncle, I think they processed my passport and everything. So my parents came back to Ghana. I had to come and meet them. So 2008 should be like 12 years ago. So probably 10 to 11 years. 10, I can't really, but 10 going to 11 something. Yeah. Okay, not really, because it was really hard calling my daddy dad. Because most time when he's talking, I'll be like, yes, sir. Yes, sir.
But you really didn't see him like that because you've had other male influence.
Yeah, like my uncle, the first one I stayed with, yeah, he was like. So when he talks to me, sometimes when I'm in the car, I'll be like, when we are going to school, he'll be like, Tonya, should I get to this? I'll be like, yes, sir. Then my daddy will be like, my mom will get angry. She'll be like, stop. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, but with time. Yeah, I connected with my dad more than my mom, even though I knew my mom very well. Okay, first of all, my daddy is really good. I don't know. My daddy is very hardworking, and like he's very innovative, and he's inspiring. Like he's very good, and like he doesn't really play with all of us, and he's very hardworking. And every time, even though we do not have much or we did not have much, my daddy always tries to give us the best of education. Like that's the one that like sometimes really gets me. Like sometimes the school we attend, my daddy always makes sure he wants to give us the best of education, and he's really hardworking, and he pushes all of us. You can see my little brother, he's at work, so he wants all of us to be hardworking. He doesn't want us to just like see that he's working and we enjoy the money. He also wants us to work, so we know that, oh, you have to work before you get money. You have to be hardworking if you want to be successful in this life. Yeah, that's one thing about my dad I really love. Well, most of my friends, almost 80% of my friends think I'm boring. And like sometimes when there's an event, they don't like to tell me because they'll be like, oh, she's not going to ask her parents, like she's a baby, like something like that. But they don't know, like my daddy is trying to build us to become. Well, my daddy always says he wants us to be better than him. And like there was an instance where I had to go to school, by 10, and then I wanted to stay at home to do some things before going to school. And my dad was shouting at me that, what am I doing at home? I need to go to work first before I go to school. And I was like, but my class is in the morning. Just like 2 hours before my class, you want me to go to work? And he was angry and he left. So I came to meet him. And I was like, I'm really sorry, I didn't mean to offend you. He was like, oh, it's just for my own good. He doesn't want me to be lazy because men value women who are hardworking, and he wants me to be like a woman of my own tomorrow. So I don't just have to be lazy, I have to be hardworking, and any opportunity I get to work, I should always use it so that I will learn. I'm learning a lot of things from my dad, and like I'm doing business in school, and I'm really happy because most of the things I learn in school, I get to practice it here. And it's really nice, but sometimes it's really boring because sometimes I'll be like, I'm not going out. Does that mean I'm getting old? And sometimes I don't get to meet new friends. I still have my old friends since I came to Ghana. I don't make new friends because I don't go out, but I would want to go out sometimes. Yeah. Okay, my dad, he doesn't give up, and when he wants something, he gets it. Like if he wants to start any business, he gets it. I could remember one day we were in the car coming home from, I think, somewhere, and then my daddy was like, it would be bad if you stay in an area for more than 2 years and you can't find anything to do in that area. He said it, and I had that in mind, and like we just stayed in Tema for like up to 2 years, and my dad established Tikamo, and I was so proud, and I was like, my daddy is really good, he's so innovative, and whenever he wants something, he always gets it. My daddy always wants the best for me. Honestly, he wants the best. Sometimes when I get like B's and A's, he will be like, I need to do better. I'm like, which other better do I need to do? Does he want me to get all A's? Like my daddy he always wants the best for himself, and he always wants the best for us. So because of that, he always drives me to bring the best for me and to him. Yeah.
You're also doubling up in managing the restaurants.
Yes.
Sometimes.
Yeah, sometimes.
How's that experience?
It's good because I've always, aside studying business, I've always wanted to be a chef or a restaurateur. So I think it's good. It's good because I have to practice most of the things I would want to do for myself there. Sometimes when I tell my friends I'm working, some of them don't see it to be serious. But when I talk to my lecturers, and they are really proud, they are impressed, they'll be like, oh, that's an advantage over your friends. It's really nice. It would help you. So sometimes they give me tips on how to practice what I learn in school and what I do in school. They give me some of the tips how to implement them at where I work. Okay, I think I would like to get my master's, and I would like my daddy's business to grow, not only in Ghana, but I want to go into food one day. I would like to be in charge of the Tika foods, not the restaurant itself, maybe both of them, the Tika foods, yeah. And then I would also be happy to manage the ethical more in general, yeah. Yeah, but then in the next 5 years, I would also want to have my own restaurant. So I really know my dad very well. For instance, when you go to my dad's bedroom, you will see some checks pasted on his mirror by his Bible side. So he always prays, he always asks God for money, and he's always hardworking. Whenever he wants something, he gets it. I don't think he takes advantage of people, because my daddy is someone who cares and reaches out for people. I'm sure that's why, because of the way he does his things, he wants something and he gets it, people are really surprised. I could remember one day I went to my neighbor's place, and they were really talking about my dad. They didn't know I was coming, and they were like, what does he even feel like? He's a Nigerian, we that we are in Ghana, we that we are Ghanaians, we've not made it. And then he's so full of himself. I'm sure they still don't get how he does it. Yeah, but how he does it is that when he wants something, he goes for it, and he's hardworking, and he's very prayerful. And my daddy doesn't joke with the work of God, and he gives. I'm sure that's why God keeps on blessing him.
And so that's how I came back to Ghana in 2008. When I came, my intention was to just, set up a house and maybe a small business for my wife. Then I jump out. That was my intention. But when I came, I started seeing opportunities. I started bringing things. Then I have been to Dubai. I've been to other places for business. I'll bring things and response. People will come and buy. I remember when in those early days, we have what is called plasma TV. Now it's LED, LCD. We first have plasma, we have LCD, and now we have LED and UHD and all that. But it was plasma. It was rare. You hardly see people who has it. So I brought it from US. I imported from US through online. Then I've been exposed to online things and buying things. So I ordered from America with phones. That time it was a BlackBerry. So I ordered BlackBerry and plasma TVs, and they came. It was fantastic. People were, everybody wants to have it. Everybody wants to buy. So I started seeing the opportunities. And these are things, maybe the cost could be like $5, $10, $20. And when you sell it in Ghana cedis, you could get like 300, 400, like 200%, 300% profit. So my eyes started opening. I never buy some before, So I said, okay, let's go and see. It was around here. The place where we did where the African Institute of Media Institute is. Now it used to be King Solomon's hotel. Right. So he took me there, and we met the man, and then he showed me the land and talked about the price. Then the price was around what they quoted was around 8,000 Ghana cedis. That's in 2009. Wow. Now that place, if you get a free land there now, it could be about $150,000 or so. But it was 8,000 Ghana. Yes, 8,000 Ghana cedis. So in my mind, I thought that they were trying to defraud me, because when I ask questions, I try to ask other Nigerians, how is it to buy land here? And the stories were that if you buy it, the Ghanaians will take it away from you. They will just take your money, and then later they will take the land. So nobody encouraged me to. And that explained how it was just of recent that some Nigerians living in Ghana started having that boldness to make investment, buy land and build it. First, everybody was of the view that once you buy it, Ghanaians will take it from you. Wow. And that was a very wrong notion. It was false. It was never true. You can have litigation in land, you can buy wrong land, but it wasn't like a tradition or a true situation that because you're a Nigerian or a foreigner, you buy land and then Ghanaians will just come and take it from you. No. There are bad people who bad land dealers who sell land to different kinds of people. But it wasn't like it's an institutionalized trend, no. So it was a false information, which discouraged many people who would have had so many investments now. But fortunately for me, I didn't listen. So I said to myself that, okay, if I lose this money, what will happen to me? I will cry, I will feel bad, it will hurt me. But am I going to die? Absolutely no. Then I've been tough, I've been hardened by circumstances. I've been through a lot. So nothing scares me. No amount of loss scares me. And that has really helped me even till today in business. Sometimes the kind of investment I do is crazy. People see it as, are you okay? But I have mastered that act of, boldness, taking bold steps. And most times it has paid off, you see. So I said, okay, they said I should pay half. When they do the documents, I'll pay the balance. I said, fine. Then I had 4,000 Ghana cedis and I paid to them. And they gave me a receipt. And I went. I didn't even know the place very well. Anytime I want to come to that land, I used to come to Bachina Total. Then I called the guy. He will come and pick me and then we'll go there. So about 1 week or so, they said the document is ready. I said, these people, they just want to defraud me fast. I said, okay. I paid the remaining 4,000 and they gave me documents. My name was clearly written. That was my first time of seeing a land document in Ghana. I don't know whether it was fake, whether it was real. I didn't know. So I just took it. Wow. And the man said to me that in Ghana, if you buy land, you have to fence it to secure it. I said, okay, I would like to fence it. He said, okay, we can buy so and so amount of blocks. I said, where did they sell it? We went there and I bought blocks. He said, we have to buy sand and cement that he can help me do the fence wall. I said, fine. About 2,000 Ghana cedis extra also. We bought cement, we bought block, and then they did the fence wall. And then the same man came back and said, in Ghana, if you buy land, you have to at least do the foundation so that people will know that it's for somebody. So you can do the foundation and leave it. Whenever you get money, you can come and continue. I said, okay, let's do the foundation. And then we make some estimates, iron rod, this and that, and then I still have some spare money. And I bought, and then we made the foundation. So I started becoming interested. So each time I come there and see the construction going on, my body and soul became attached to it. So I kept coming. After the foundation, we started building the house. Then we built it to a certain point. I was doing my business, bringing things and selling. I think in 2010, I rented the first shop on the Spinters Road here. I'll bring clothing. I bring from Korea, I bring from Dubai. And I started selling small. I used to travel and bring them. This time around, I go to Dubai and buy and I come back. So that business was there, and I have made contacts all over the place because of a series of moves and all those kind of. So I have people who have this and that and they want to bring to Africa. Even some people, they want to bring money to Africa, and I have all those. So I was making money from, small from various ways. But we did the building to a certain point and we stopped because of my money couldn't carry it, and so I held on. Then we were living in a rented house. So the place where we were, the owner of the house lived in UK, a certain woman. And when we rented that house, she said that there's a one room, it was, I think, 4-bedroom house. But one room was locked. She said that her properties are inside that room. But that we should just leave the room for her. When she comes, she won't stay there. She just wants to secure her things there. But apparently, when she now came to Ghana, she started staying in the room. So we are now living with the landlady. Wow. So it was very uncomfortable because she would bump into the kitchen and say that what my wife is cooking is smelling and those kind of things. And, a lot of discomfort. And we started having issues with her. And so she said that when the rent expires, he's not going to renew it. And then the rent expired. We asked her to give us some time to get another place, and she refused. The woman went to bring people thugs, and they threw our things outside. One day we went to church and we came back, and our properties are outside. Then we had a little child, my daughter, just a baby. It was a very horrible situation. So we decided to go and patch up that house. It was uncompleted. We managed to make up one room, just dress one room, plaster it, and then we moved into that uncompleted house. And then we lived there. I was getting some small money. At least that time I could wait maybe $10,000, $20,000, which was a reasonable amount of money to a beginner in Africa. But through my struggles, I have learned to live a low-key life. I would have gone to rent another house, maybe buy a car. But I was building the house, I didn't have a car. In fact, I used to go to that site with bicycle. In fact, when I go to the site, people who are working there don't believe that the house belongs to me. They used to think that I have a brother abroad who is sending me to, So we lived there. We didn't mind mosquitoes and everything. So we lived there and was doing the house small, till we finished. And then we lived in that house. Nice house, 5-bedroom, up and down duplex. But it has affected my business. The capital has come down because we put in a chunk of it into that place. Then I have opened a shop called Exotic Plus. We were selling only underwears, both male and female underwear, singlets, that was in 2010. We opened that in 2010. So, and we were selling a kind of quality. So the place became very popular. Bankers, all these vests that the female wear to wear their suit, we were the only people bringing it. It became a very popular place. People were coming from all parts of the city to come and buy very quality boxer shorts. We just focus only on that. Boxer shorts, innerwear, singlets, and both male and female. And it was very good. We had our own brand called KNC. We were bringing it, and it was a good business. But the capital had been affected because of how we have to finish that house. Then one day, I was sleeping. I have gone to church, and I have started already thinking that the house is too big for us. Maintenance of that house also has become a problem because there are a lot of electric bulbs. The ECG is flying like something, So I'm beginning to think that we are not to the standard of living in this kind of house. It was becoming a burden rather than an asset. Then one day we went to church, and my pastor preached a sermon that he called downsizing. So he was saying that if you have a car and you are looking for money for business, then you should sell your car and use the money to do business. It was foolishness to drive a car and not have a business. He's saying that if you are living in a rented house and you are using a big car like Range Rover, you are foolish, because Range Rover, you could sell it and build a one-bedroom house and stop paying rent. All that he was saying was that you have to downsize. He talked about some ladies who have Peruvian hair and all those kind of things, and they are begging for 100 cedis. Meanwhile, your hair and your shoes and everything, if you sell them, you could start a business. So it got me thinking. And I went home, we wake up early in the morning, and I woke my wife up and I said, my dear, I think we are abusing the grace of God. How can we live in a big house like this? Just me, you, and our small daughter. Then my big daughter hasn't come to join us. And I think we should move to a smaller house and find something commercial to convert this house to. And as usual, she was a bit reluctant. Oh, what's people going to say? How it will look like if we... But I said, my dad, we shouldn't mind about what people will say. we should be more focused on what is good for us. And she quickly agreed with me. As usual, she's always supportive. And we moved to a small house in Coastal Estate. You know the place, right? Yeah. So we moved there and we converted that place to a 10-bedroom hotel. And that hotel became another source of income. In fact, that hotel became a starting point of our rising. Because once we were there, people started coming and bringing all kinds of business proposals to us. You know, when you have a platform, it opens you up for opportunities. So that hotel became like a platform. People who want to sell land, they always say, go to the Nigerian man there. So that's how I got into real estate business that I do today. I was there, people will come, they have funeral, they need money, they have land. I'll go and check it, I'll buy it cheap, I will resell. Some Nigerians now started depending on me to get land. There are occasions where I go to check a land, I didn't pay, I just go and do negotiation. I already have somebody, maybe a Nigerian, who wants to buy a land. And I'll just go to him, I have found the land for you to buy. I finish everything, we'll go, you look at it. I remember a certain time that I did a land transaction and I got 40,000 Ghana cedis profit without investing a kobo. Within a space of 2 hours, I just finished negotiation. I took the guy there, he liked it, he paid me.
That's almost 10,000.
Yes, he paid me and I took the landowner's money and go and pay. So I didn't put my money, he brought and paid me. And he continued like that. So I started buying lands and selling. That's how another business opportunity opened. And so that's how gradually we started. We now decided to call it, we did the hotel, we call it King Solomon's Place.
How did the name come about, King Solomon?
The name came through my son. You know, I am a church person. I believe so much in God and I try to get divine direction in everything that I do. So I had a son and I had a spiritual father. So when he gave birth to my son, so I went to my spiritual father because my father was late. So my spiritual father at that time became both my spiritual father and my biological father. As our tradition is, when you have a child, you go to your father to name your child. And so I went to my father to give me a name for my son. First, I named it after him, and then he also said we should call him King Solomon. And you know, King Solomon, I used to hear people Solomon. I never heard anybody King Solomon, but he insisted that it should be King Solomon. And so my son now, even if you call him Solomon, he will correct you. He will say, my name is not Solomon, my name is King Solomon. And so we call him King Solomon. And so when we did that hotel, we just put the hotel King Solomon's Place. You know, that mindset of my tradition, you know, first child, first son inherits his father. So I started on time to place the inheritance on him. So that was what led to. So everything King Solomon, now people call me King Solomon. It's not my name, it's my son's name. But it was deliberate because where we are coming from, you groom your son to take over from, you know, from where you stop. So I started placing that line of inheritance to make him conscious of, you know, what he's about. And that's how we got the name King Solomon's Place. And so we decided to do King Solomon's Properties. At that time, we started having lands here, going to Dawenya. I became full-time land and real estate developer. That's how King Solomon Properties was bettered.
He said he made a statement one day we were driving. We went to see a facility that you're putting up in town. You made a statement that land is my business. And I've never forgotten.
It's my profession.
My profession. land is my profession. I've never forgotten that statement, you know. Each time I think about it, it reminds me a lot of things. Let's talk about a new facility, well, that you've put up. Is not pretty new, but it's the first in town. It's the first building material and construction equipment mall. How did that come about?
You know, because of the series of property dealings I've had, building of houses, so I managed to assemble a team of young, committed people. Masons, laborers, electricians, metal fabricators, and all kinds of artisans. Young people. And Tom, you see, in life and in business, it is not only, I used to tell people that it's not only hard work that can make you wealthy. Hard work can prepare you for wealth. Hard work can help you to retain and maintain wealth. Hard work can help you become strong. But hard work cannot give you wealth. Wealth is a direct product of chance, opportunity. In Christendom, we call it favor. Until you become mentally strengthened, emotionally strengthened, character, to be able to calm down so that you can notice opportunities, you will never be wealthy. You need to see an opportunity. And when you see an opportunity, if you're a hard worker, that is when your hard work, that threat of hard work come into play and pounce on the opportunity, and it produces wealth. If you are working very hard and you are not able to identify opportunities, you will go nowhere. You see, when I meet these guys, I saw opportunity in them, in building a lasting relationship with all these guys. So I have guys that, no matter where they are, I've built a certain relationship with them that anytime I call them, they will respond. If I say, let's work overnight, even if it's not favorable to them, they don't know how to say no to me. Because we have built a certain relationship. I bring myself down to that level. And we become like friends trying to achieve a particular thing. And so I've gotten so much experience in the land, construction, building. And I have a guy in all the areas that I can bank on their knowledge, I can bank on their experience to do anything I want to do. So I started thinking that if I bring all these guys together, we could have a business that connects to everything about construction. And so when we went to Community 25 and got that place, I decided that let us build the first builders market where you will have everything about building from A to Z, beginning from purchase of land, building of it, the materials that you need, equipment that you need, whether you want to buy the equipment or you want to rent it. There is no way I should have been able to put all these things together by myself. But because I have a welder who is very committed and loyal to me, because I have a mason who is very loyal and committed to me, because I have a aluminum profile fabricator who is very loyal and committed to me, because I have an electrician who understands about everything about electricity, spare parts, and he's very loyal and committed. I have a carpenter who understands wood. So I just brought these guys together and I said, we will sell this one. You understand this. Bring pen and paper. Let's list the items that we need. to start with. And then they all come together. Everybody bring his idea. Then I use my experience as a businessman and then started negotiating with producers, dealers. I started putting profit and loss, trying to determine which one will be profitable and which one will be more profitable. But the technical ideas of the type of materials and everything came from all these guys. And I didn't build those relationships in 1 year. This is a relationship that has lasted for 8 years, 9 years, 10 years. But when I was playing with these guys, laughing with them at the construction site, inviting them to my house, looking like them, people usually would tell me, you are a boss, separate yourself from your workers and this, and they will not respect you. I say, no. My pursuit is not to be respected. I know that if I'm able to build something that is of value, the respect will come automatically. So I don't have to force it. But if I'm able to better their life, they will owe me respect. It will become a duty for them to respect me. And it has started gradually unfolding. So that's how come we did that place. And when people come there, they think that we were able to do it because we have a lot of money. No, it's not that we have a lot of money, but we have a lot of experience and ideas, and we were able to manage to deny ourselves a lot of luxury, deny ourselves holidays in Dubai, deny ourselves travels and using exotic cars. And we were able to gather all the little resources that is available and put the platform together. Now that we have the platform, everybody wants to be part of it. Industries are coming, they want to bring their products there. Now we have over 3,000 items in the Tika Mall. Yes. And we have all kinds of services that has to do with building, end to end. And it's the first of its kind. I think the only place you can find it is in South Africa and Kenya.
I remember last year in the heat of the pandemic where people were running around not knowing what to do with their lives. And that's when actually you were setting up this facility.
Yes.
I remember when I was doing the paperwork for an aspect, the business plan. You said your idea was to have it not only in Ghana, but also in Nigeria and even different regions in Ghana.
Yes.
Is that still on course?
Yes. Now we've secured a place in Kaswa, a very vantage position in Kaswa. We are now constructing. So very soon, by God's grace, maybe around Christmas, we'll have Tika Mall in Kaswa. And Abuja one is also, we'll start maybe somewhere around 2 months' time. Yeah.
There's a question I wanted to ask you. One of the most important things for startup entrepreneurs or entrepreneurs of any category is business relationships and partnerships. How did you get the partnership with the guy in Turkey? Because you have a direct relationship with a Turkish gentleman who supplies the original products from that.
I think it's also chance and favor. I actually met the guy online. Yeah, I didn't go to Turkey.
Wow.
I met him online, and then he was advertising a particular product of his, a stone paint. By the way, we have built a stone paint factory, and we'll be starting production sometime next month.
Wow.
So it's going to be one of our flagship products. So I met him and we started talking, and then he, I think the favor was there, and again, he liked my zeal. I was always ready, because that's the kind of person he is. The man is around the late 50s. He's a young man still, but he's very active. He's a owner of factories. But anytime you contact this man, he will respond. If you contact him in the midnight, he will respond. You contact him early in the morning, he will respond. Sometimes I wonder, when does he sleep? Because you can never send him a message without him responding, no matter the time. And he also noticed that in me. So when he came to Ghana to visit me, he said he has seen the person that is exactly like him. And so he said, in his words, he said, you know, he's not an English person, but he said, together with you, we will build imperia all over Africa. What he was trying to say, we will build empire all over Africa. So because there was a connection. He said that I behave exactly like him when it comes to business. Seriousness. Because when we say we are doing the Tika more, almost on daily basis, I send him progress reports from point A to point B, and it was all going. I never share bad news. I only share good news. I learned that I don't share bad news, Tom. Bad news. You can never hear me sharing about somebody has died, somebody has done this. I don't share bad. You don't hear bad news from my mouth. Bad things happen, but I don't put emphasis on bad things. I focus on the positive things. I can hardly share anything bad about anybody, anything negative. Rather, share the good thing about that person. And I think it has helped me to always see good things. So, even if I face a difficulty, I don't magnify those difficulties. I try to downplay it and work on it, because I learned something that thinking and worrying are two different things. I learned it from my pastor also.
Thinking and worrying are two different things.
Yes. Worrying is using your mind to magnify problems. Thinking is using your mind to find solution to a problem. If something happened and you are worried about it, you only get alarmed. You become disturbed. You become discomfort. You are just worried. Worry doesn't bring solution, but you can understand that something bad has happened. So what do I do? How do I get out of it? Now you are thinking. And when you clean your heart of worry, your mind will start working. Divinely, God created us as He gave us this planet to administer it, to take care of it, to cultivate it. So it means that when God gives you that kind of assignment, He has given you the necessary tools, and they are inside of you. So any of the tools that you call on is like a computer system. Any command you give the computer, that's the output that He brings. So you command some systems in you, and they come into play, and they always work. The thing is that we don't apply them. For me, people think that maybe I had access to some big money. No, I have never had some big money before. I have never. What I do is to identify. I am able to bring myself low to the environment and be able to identify opportunity. For example, Tom, in 2015, we built something we call utility center, utility financial center. How did it come about? When we were running the King Solomon's Hotel, by the way, my wife worked at the King Solomon Hotel as a cook, as receptionist, as cleaner. Not every woman will do that. Any woman that his husband is able to build a hotel in African context is classified as a big woman or a rich woman. But we train ourselves not to. So she was working there. Myself, I work night shift. So in the night, I'm the receptionist at the hotel. In the night, we took one room. So we have our house, but we took one room there. So our things are closed and everything are there. We bath from there. So she work in the day, I work at night. In the daytime, I go to my other businesses. In the nights, I come and sit at the front desk. So there are funny things, how people customers will come. I remember one particular incident I don't forget. You know, some of these young guys, in the night, he has gone to take some harlots in the night, you know. I was at the front desk and they had issues. So he came and dropped instruction on the front desk that that girl should never be allowed to come to his room. Of course, it's my job. I'm the front desk person. My guest has given me instruction, and I must follow the instruction. I say yes, sir. And so the lady came, and I said, please, you are not allowed to go there. And the young harlot girl, you know, she insulted me. Stupid man, useless man. I'll make sure you are sacked. I'll make sure this and that. You know, but it's my job. I didn't insult her back. I only said, madam, please, you know. And then later on, they made up. And then they went and, you know, slept. In the morning, the guy, I think somebody has come to, maybe somebody who knows me. I've told them that the owner of the place. And so when the guy came and the way he greeted me was different. So I think the girl asked, I don't know how it happened, but the girl get to know that. So she came like trying to apologize, and I told her that no, I'm doing my work. So what I'm trying to say is that you bring yourself down. So when I was there, we used to have people come from Nigeria because it's owned by a Nigerian. We intentionally place some adverts, and so when a Nigerian is coming, he preferred to stay in a hotel run by a Nigerian so that you can help him, you know, in order. So families used to come for holiday, we help them to take them around and all those kind of things. And so sometimes their money finish, so they need to take money from Nigeria. You know, the banking systems, there are a lot of too much restrictions. And so because sometimes we also do business in Nigeria, we buy things from Nigeria, so we run Nigeria accounts. So they will pay Naira into my Nigerian account. And we are running services here, so we're always receiving CDs. So we can take it from our savings and give them. And so many other people, you know, one person will tell the other person, people keep coming to me. They want money. They are needing money in Ghana, but they have it in Nigeria. So I will say, okay, pay into my account. I will take my CDC and give to the person. Some people, maybe they have traveled to Nigeria. They want to buy something from Nigeria. They don't have money. They can bring me CDs here, and then I take from my account in Nigeria and give them. So I saw that there is an opportunity there. So I open it as a business now. But I am not able to balance it because if a lot of money is in Nigeria, I might need it here. How do I? You know, it become kind of challenge. So what I did, there were these money changers in Tudu and in Makola. They all have their partners in Nigeria also. So I will go to them. When people bring money that is big, I'll take the money to them. I'll go to Tudu by myself. I'll go and give them the money. And I will send somebody to their office in Nigeria. They will go and take the money and pay to the people. And that was how gradually we started. The mobile money, that was when MTN started the mobile money business. So they were looking for agents. So we were one of the first people that subscribed as MTN mobile money agents before other people came. So we were kind of super agents. There are agents and there are super agents. The super agents, we buy the e-cash bulk from the bank and then we supply to other small agents. Nobody was doing it then. I used to buy the e-cash in large quantity. Then I'll go around. I carry my small mobile phone. I'll go around from agent to agent. I'll be giving them e-cash. In the morning, I give them e-cash. Then in the evening, I will go around again and collect the CDs from them. So I was at the same time making money, at the same time empowering the agents, because most of them, they don't have the physical cash to go to the bank to buy that bulk. So I buy the bulk, then I go to them, I give this person 5,000 in the morning, I give this person 3,000, I give this person 2,000 in the morning. So in the evening, I go around and collect my cash. The following morning, I send the same cash back to bank and buy more. So that was how we started Utility Center. We opened one branch. So instead of going around, people were now coming to that branch to buy the e-cash. And people were also bringing small money. When they give us CDs, we pay to them in Nigeria. And we were making a lot of money. Small money, small. But at the end of the month, you see a large volume of money. So that became another business. Until we had about 5 branches, and the bank took notice of Utility Center, and they came to me and they said, we want to partner you. We have received, Bank of Ghana has approved the agency banking, so banks can now adopt agents. So you can come and make deposits into your account through our office. So we become like agents to the bank, and you can do Western Union, MoneyGram, and all those things. And we signed a partnership with that bank, and we had about 20 branches of Utility Center. So we are doing Western Union, MoneyGram, MTN Mobile Money, Vodafone Cash, Airtel Money, and all those. 2015. Of course, we were part of that business for some time. And that was how. And that became a very big business. And we were aiming to becoming a bank, if not the crisis that came to the banking sector. That time we couldn't continue that dream. I have already been registered the King Solomon's Trust Bank. I noticed the opportunity. And then around 2016, I noticed another opportunity.